like a Max, he's done a really good job there tonight. He was on the wing. He hasn't trained at all in the wing for us, not a session all year. So it was a last-minute change to the team with Lockie to have to put Max on the wing. They still scored 2 quick tries in the second half there and had a bit of momentum, but we scrambled hard and fought well. Made a couple of line breaks. It'd be nice if we just sort of execute a bit better on the back of them and turn them into points, but had a fair bit of quality sitting in the grandstand tonight, and it's not an excuse. I was happy with the boys, tried hard.
Sounds like you take plenty of positives.
Plenty, especially the way we finished the game. We could have put the cue in the rack and we could have started to think about next week, but we didn't. We got some good minutes into some of our middles, and and I think that's evident with our crowd and our fans behind the post. Like, they were cheering us right to the end because they were proud of the boys fighting hard to the end of the game. They're a good side.
At 22-0 after, I think it was 47 minutes, it could have got quite nasty, couldn't it? But some of the scramble at the end, the determination for that last half.
Yeah, and we scrambled really hard at the back end of the first half, and then we made that line break, and it would have been nice if you could turn that into a 6, it's 12-6 at half time, just gives you a little bit of confidence. But yeah, we just got a couple of system errors wrong in defence, but I think it's more about just lack of combinations more than anything else there. And one of them was off an error from a kick.
Obviously scored a really nice try at the end, and Jack showed some good. I mean, he made a couple of mistakes, didn't he? But he showed some really good signs, didn't he?
Yeah, well, you got to remember he's still young. He's still learning the game. Managing the team. And it's tough for a right footer on that left side of the field. So it's, but he made the most of it. And like I said, that left edge, I'm happy with them. I know they conceded a couple of tries there, but we just threw them out there, and they worked really hard. And they didn't get beat on effort or physicality. They just got beat on a couple of good players beat them.
And Gannon, it looked quite serious when.
Yeah, well, that's what they were concerned about, and then he's okay. So, I'm thinking as long as no one trips over getting onto the bus, we're getting out of here injury free, and we get 4 back next week. So that's pretty pleasing. And we just talked then about we've worked really hard. We're so excited about getting a home final. We need to make the most of it, because what's happened up to now, there's been lots of highs and good things, and there's been a couple of lows throughout the season, but there's more positives in our season than anything, and we need to focus on that and make the most of what we've worked to get a home final.
Yeah, obviously this is probably more of a question for the coming week, but fourth in the table, it's an improvement of 4 places. You'd be pretty happy with that.
Well, I'm proud of the club, proud of the boys. We've got our reserves team in the grand final tomorrow, and then the next week the kids. So it's a big turnaround. There's been lots of contributions from the club, and Bleasy with the recruitment and the players that we've brought in. Have made a difference. 7 guys are in the, they've been picked for the England squad. So there's lots of positives, but it'd be really silly of us now to sit back and get too comfortable. We've got a big week ahead of us, a big game next week, and we need to make the most of the support that we're going to get there.
That's right.
You sound bang up for it already, the finals.
We're good to go. Yeah, like I went into the sheds. It could have been different if I walked into the sheds and we, that last 25 minutes we turned our toes and we started to think about next week. But it's not the team that we've tried to be, and our team identity hasn't been that all year. So that's what's got me, pumped up about next week, and plenty of confidence and plenty of belief.
Just in terms of how the team's tracked into the playoffs, how confident are they you're going to go in full tilt and ready to? Do you feel ready to go?
Yeah, no, we are. Like I said, that whole left edge will be different again. So, and over the last probably 5 weeks, I've had to chop and change a lot of positions, move blokes around on the field. So it's been quite disruptive. And to be fair to the boys, no one's complaining. They've just got on with it and had to do what's best for the team. So hopefully we can, come this weekend outside of Micah, we should be close to our best team. Avali and Cameron Smith, 2 guys that won't play, obviously, but outside of that, we've got everyone available.
Ash is good to go then.
Yeah.
How big a boost is it to have Ash in? He knows his game so well.
Yeah, and his leadership, I think he's really grown there this year. He's got some class too, hasn't he? Like sometimes in those tight games and it's in a bit of an arm wrestle, you need one of your a bit of class or quality just to step up and break the game up and come up with a flick pass or a little grubber in behind him or an offload or, a line break. He's the sort of guy who can come up with that for you.
How well has he done to get back?
Yeah, extremely well. Probably didn't think it was possible, but our physios and high performance guys have done a really good job to get him right. And but Ash has had to buy into it and push himself to get himself right as well. It just shows you, the want and the desire from him.
When you came to the club, these games coming up now are what you were seeking to be in, weren't they? Does it feel like you're getting to the point of hitting the peak of getting back to where you think Leeds belong? I
don't think we're. I feel like, we need to be better again next year, but we're certainly we're right in this competition right now. There's 6 teams that are still alive, and every one of those teams will think they're a good chance, and it's going to come down to who plays the best, and for that 80 minutes, because all the teams that are in and around us, we've beaten every one of them. And we've been beaten by them in return as well. So it just shows any team can win this comp from here. That's my view.
Just one quick question on Saints. You've had a couple of battles. I mean, they've come out on top in 3 of the 4. How much are you looking forward to getting to grips with them and maybe even try to certainly the last one, that was a really frustrating game against them.
Yeah, we had a couple of frustrating games against them. But we need to not worry too much about the past now. That's what we talked about in the sheds. 27 rounds, that's gone. It only matters now. You're only going to get remembered for what happens this week, and then it's a week at a time.